right, welcome back to part 2 of Comply or Die episode 4.5, something like that, where we're talking about the future frontier of technology, where we're heading in the future with compliance.
And I mean, have you looked at other RegTechs?
Specific to what we do, not really. I have sort of paid attention to the I'm forgetting the word, financial technologies, fintech. Again, like when I was at ACAMS in 2018, when I was at all those conferences from, I guess, 2016 onwards, every other vendor was a new technology, and they all look the same. They all do things that are very, very similar to each other. I won't say they're the same, but they're definitely tapping into the hype and the excitement of what new thing can we do next? Like, what's the new barrier that we can break? What's the next frontier? Because we've kind of run out of things, right? And have I evaluated them for risk and validity? Not really. But it's interesting that you do, because that's what your career has been for 20 years, 15 years, is assessing the risk of emerging products, services, for industries, and technology now happens to be this next big frontier, and then kind of within that, RegTech. And so I definitely find that very appropriate that you're taking the risk-based approach to new technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I didn't think of it that way. I just thought I was being a bit cynical and skeptical about what technology can do.
Even like new apps on my phone, like new social medias, new things. There's one that I really want to like pay for their service, but they're Ukrainian based. And so I asked our head of security, also my dad, to be like, hey, what's the risk associated with this? What's the cybersecurity risk of me putting my credit card information into a Ukrainian-based app on my phone? Not like, it's not going to be part of my like banking system. It's not going to be like, I mean, I guess it is downloaded, but iOS systems are particularly safe. It's not like some malware on my laptop or anything. And I still have to think about that now because of external political factors that are changing, and how many hacks have happened in the last few years.
I have to ask, what was his response?
Oh, he gave me a really good one. He gave me a great way to mitigate my risk.
Which is?
To put it on my Cash App card.
I was going to say, yeah.
Which I haven't been using, and so I need to use that now.
I only use my Cash App card. I don't use, because
you're very risk adverse.
I guess so, but I only use my Cash App card because I figured if that card gets compromised in any way, they get a couple $100 at the most.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those, I'll be at the checkout.
Yeah.
And I'm transferring money into it.
Yeah.
As I'm checking out.
I've seen
okay,
that.
I need another $30. Okay, hold on. Let me do that. God forbid Cash App ever goes down. Then I'll be.
And I really hope not. And I guess that's kind of the next frontier is what's going to happen from like the regulatory side of these things. Will regulators come down on these third-party payment processors? That was a big topic in the ACAMS training, was the risks and red flags associated with internet-based payment services.
Such as Cash App.
And like internet banks, online banking, RDC, which is remote device capture, which is like you can cash a check from your phone. And they're like, it's risky. There are risks associated with the ability for someone to deposit any check anywhere, anytime. But if you ask me, oh my gosh, I would not want to go back into a bank to deposit a check. One, I don't get checks anymore. Two, I do them on my phone all the time.
I don't even think we have our bank branches even in the state.
Yeah.
We'd have to go 3 states away to actually reach a branch.
Yeah. But that's technically risky behavior. And so it's kind of like, how do the new technologies, not even just technology, how do the new conveniences? It's so much easier to Cash App someone. It's so much easier to take the picture of my check and put it in my bank account. And those are enabled by new technologies, which, yes, come with associated risks. But are we as consumers and our regulators and again, the protectors, the gatekeepers of the global financial system, are they going to ask us, and God forbid, force us into not having those conveniences and restricting the implementation of new technologies into the financial system in order to protect it? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I hope not, because I don't want to have to
I know, me neither.
close down that bank account and
open up a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it's that hard here in the U.S. We are in the U.S. It's a lot easier to open a bank account. We do make that joke.
We do.
About how easy it is to get a bank account here versus somewhere else in the world.
Easiest in Delaware in the world.
Oh,
I think it's Delaware.
I'll let you.
That's just my fun party fact.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true or not.
But yeah, no, I like I said, I do find that. I hope they don't take away. I mean, I think that's the great benefit of fintechs and fintechs versus regtechs.
Right.
Fintechs are financial technologies, regtechs regulatory technologies. And so when people kind of come to us and go, "Oh, you're a fintech," like, no, not a fintech.
Yeah.
We're all about the regulation and meeting the regulatory requirements. Fintechs are reducing the friction. Yeah.
Enabling the growth of the financial services. And then RegTech.
And being able to provide it to people who otherwise might not be able to access.
Unbanked. Yeah.
Yeah, unbanked.
And then RegTech is the protector of the growth of that. They kind of, again, they should work in harmony with each other.
They should.
There shouldn't be friction. And I don't know if there is friction, but they certainly shouldn't have kind of opposing goals.
No. Nor there's synergies. We're not competitors.
Exactly.
By any means. Yeah. No. So I kind of going back to, the technology changes, the infrastructure changes that are going on. Because again, when I started Silo, most people that we were dealing with still wanted everything on their servers, behind their firewalls, in their offices. And of course, what we've also found is that with the IT infrastructure, that's changed a lot in the past 10 years. We're now a cloud-based solution. And it means that we do have to watch about data residency requirements and stuff like that. But I do find that people who are still like, no, it's got to sit on our servers. They're falling behind.
Yeah.
Because the cloud-based solutions, the SaaS solutions, which stands for software as a service, for those who don't know, they can be changed and revised very quickly to keep up with regulatory changes, to help be adaptable, to help kind of reduce the risk of new trends, money laundering trends, and things like that.
And with safety too, as soon as a breach is detected or some kind of security deficiency is found, they can immediately patch it.
Well, as far as like a breach, just a vulnerability.
A vulnerability.
Yeah, not necessarily a breach, but a vulnerability, they can immediately kind of patch it up. And the core business operations, oblivious to it. They don't even know what's going on because it's already been done and dealt with. A breach is a different ball game altogether, especially with GDPR and stuff like that. Well, let me ask you this. Now, with all these new technologies out there, there's a lot of internet. There's a lot of tools out there that can go out, access the internet, access various databases, and pull in a lot of data. They can find out a lot of information about you, find out a lot of information about me. What are your thoughts on that from a compliance, an AML compliance, onboarding, risk assessment standpoint?
I mean, because my answer is very different as a compliance person versus as a data professional. Because on the one hand, I think data is great. I think having a lot of data is good. Again, as a digital native, when the whole I think it was Facebook was the lawsuit on, they're capturing too much data and you're not consenting to it. And then they started implementing controls where it's not really even a control, but it was where you could download the data. And you could say no, I don't consent to this. And I want it all back. My whole life, my digital footprint has been tracked from beginning to end, or I guess beginning to currently. I think data is good. I think, again, with the right intentions. That's what the overarching thing is, right? We should be using technology, using our firms, industries, operating in a way that is not just ethical, but you're doing the right thing for the right reason for the right people. Don't go stealing my data so you can, do nefarious things. I don't even know what they're doing at this point. As a compliance I can't really say if I'm a compliance officer, but as a compliance person, onboarding clients, I imagine, is now easier, again, with the introduction of technology and kind of the implementation of automation. Um, I think it's a good thing that we can speed up these processes. You know, oh no, I don't need to, see your business registration because it's already online. It's already in like a public database. Uh, is it safe? I don't know. I guess depending on the level of safeguards, depending on the level of information online. But if it's like one less thing that both the customer and the onboarding officer have to do and it speeds up the whole process, to me, that just means that the um, the safety starts sooner. The risk gets assessed faster and more completely because there are also customers and clients who don't want to give you everything. They want to purposely leave things out because they don't want you to do the media checks or they don't want you to find out certain things about them. And maybe they're not like horribly illegal or anything or would go directly against acceptance policy. But they just want to leave it kind of out of the picture. And maybe it's a good thing that firms and compliance officers and risk officers can then kind of get a better, fuller picture of their people. And again, more importantly, speed up the process, get it all in the system faster. Let's start running our checks. Let's do our risk assessment quickly. And then this person, this firm, this relationship between, service provider and client can get started faster and everyone can be protected faster. Plus, it's like, with each, data point, with each person within the global, financial system, as each person gets a kind of safe, sound AML system, as they get introduced to I shouldn't say introduced to, as they develop new relationships with service providers and they are better protected, it kind of has that ripple effect. Everyone is better off. And the closer we can reach kind of that 100% number, I think the better.
Okay. See, and I come at it from a very different
standpoint.
Yeah. I actually disagree a little bit about being able to pull lots and lots of data from a client. Okay. And I'll use the example that if you're looking at to onboard ABC Co. as your client, that I can just go to, the registration, company registration page and like, oh yeah, they exist. They're here. And so they're our client. What I think about is you've come to me and you said, I am part of ABC Co. and we need you to help do this for us. And so I'm onboarding ABC Co. First of all, I want to go, are you really?
Yeah.
So again, are you really with ABC Co?
Yeah.
Because of course I can go online and verify that ABC Co exists, but how do I verify that you are authorized to act on behalf of ABC Co? That's what I'm looking for. And I do have a funny story because that actually happened to me.
Yeah.
And it was a very, I'll just say famous person. And it was one of those situations that it was the famous person's company and their assistant was saying, yes, I am this person's assistant and we want to do this and I'll be doing it. And I was like, how do I verify that?
Yeah.
I won't go into details, but it was one of those, I was like, how do I confirm that this person is authorized to act on behalf of this other person who is the owner of this big company? And so that was one of my challenges is just making sure that who you are dealing with is who they say they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So that's very hard. But what I do find is that importing a lot of data or getting a lot of data on a company just to get a lot of data is useless.
Right.
It's what I call, it adds noise. I don't necessarily need to know that, yes, that particular healthcare company has been served law or is in the middle of litigation. That doesn't matter to me if I'm onboarding them as a customer or a client because that happens in that industry.
Yeah.
So I do think we have to what's what I'm looking for? I just kind of assess how much data is too much data, but don't not go out and try and get data because you do want to kind of flesh out who your customer is.
Yeah, get that complete and whole picture. Something that's been kind of rattling in my brain recently is this kind of like instant interconnectedness, I think, of everything. It's now so easy to it's not, you don't even have to pick up the phone and call someone on the other side of the world. It's a send them a message, on whatever platform it is, because of, the invention of the internet, the invention of new communication technologies, kind of what you were talking about, like, how do I confirm to this person? Or how do I confirm that this person standing in front of me is actually associated with and has permission to do XYZ for someone 4,000 miles away? Text them, email them, get on a Zoom call. And that's kind of the great thing about where we are now is, well, maybe it's not a great thing. It's I think one of the not only benefits, but one of the, I think, most prominent benefits of where we are, technology-wise these days is we really are instantly connected all the time, 24/7, everywhere in the world. And I think it is now easier than ever. Because you can't get away with lying anymore. You can't get away with, kind of, to a point.
Yeah, it just takes a lot more. But yeah, as
you
far
can't
as
just take people for their word anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, compliance today is much easier than it was 15 years ago because of all the new technology. So I'm not, there's lots of blessings with technologies, fintechs, regtechs, communications, and stuff like that, and the ability to confirm things. Again, though, just remember that sometimes it's not what you see, but it's what you don't see.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, I was just kind of thinking in terms of we do a lot of adverse media screening.
Yeah.
So, and of course, one of the things that, and I won't say the person's name, but I think I've told you this story.
Yeah.
I think I've even mentioned it in some of our Gray Matters webinars about how, back in the year 2002 or 3, I had to search somebody's name and got a lot of links about how this person was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Money launderer, I remember printing up the documents, and it was a half inch to an inch thick file folder back in the day. And then not 10 years later, having to research them again, only to find that they were legitimate businessmen. Completely, not one mention on the internet about them having any history of being an accused money launderer.
Yeah.
And we have to understand too that people can clean up their data history on the internet, and it is happening fast.
Yeah.
There are tools out there that will allow me to hire somebody to say, just go clean up my name, make sure there's nothing bad on the internet about me, and they can do that, and within a day or two. I've got a pristine, clean reputation on the internet. So don't think that the money launderers, the bad guys, they know that too. They're probably the ones started those tools.
Exactly. And that's where it's like you have to, not only do you have to like opt in and participate in the new frontier of technology, but then you have to stay ahead of the game constantly because they're already 10 steps ahead, right? We're barely just catching up at this point. And so it's that, like, stay up to date, keep going. Obviously it's a very complex landscape right now, but it is better off to just be moving forward and trying to innovate and trying to participate in like where technology is heading. Again, because the criminals are already there.
And they're already there because they have more resources.
Yeah.
Lots more money.
Yeah.
And a lot more incentive.
Exactly. And it will go hand in hand with the human aspect. Don't chase after something that, what did TLC say? Don't chase after waterfalls. Stick with
I still don't know what that means.
I don't either, but somehow it works. Don't abandon, it's not even really an abandonment, but it's, don't forget that the people are important too. Not just, serving the people, but it's, you will only ever be as safe as your compliance officers are enabled, whether it's with technology or with their knowledge. But those two things have to work in tandem.
I completely agree with that. That's very good. You do have to give them the tools, as well as the skills
and the training,
and the
training, community,
and give them time to get some experience in the community. Exactly. I am very excited because you are going to a RegTech conference in New York in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think it's necessary anti-money laundering compliance because we were kind of talking it just as RegTech, which that could be HIPAA, which is
It could be a lot
healthcare,
of things. Yeah.
OSHA. I mean, it could be tons of different compliance technologies out there.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's going to be at least one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very excited to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
And find out what you learn when you go to that RegTech conference.
And it's been so long since I've been to one. So long,
COVID
5 years.
shot down so much for us. We couldn't go to a lot. It was 3 years. I mean, we were going to conferences about 4 times a year, and then all of a sudden COVID, and then for 3 years I did not travel.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be very, very.
I'm gonna be walking back into just like a new landscape. It's one of those things. It's like when you go back to your hometown, you don't recognize it.
Yeah,
it's gonna feel like that. Like all the people or all the firms that I feel like I would see everywhere. I don't know if I'll see them. Granted, it's also a different region. I used to be going to these ones in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to expect. I have a feeling I'm going to feel a little bit out of my depth when I go, just because so much has changed in the last 5 years. I mean, I think. When did GDPR come into effect? Was it 2018?
2016?
2016?
Or maybe it came into effect in 2018.
Yeah. So I haven't seen what technology has been doing since like one of the biggest regulatory changes.
Yeah, impacted the world.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that was a big one.
Yeah, it was huge. And I haven't seen any of the ramifications of it yet.
On the
technology side.
Tech side. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure there is. Yeah. That's good. So I'm very looking forward to getting your take on that. If I'm lucky, knock on wood, I'll be able to join you.
Hopefully.
But if I can't, so that will be great. So to have you, I know you're very good. You're able to go to these booths and talk to these people and ask tons of questions, and which I think is hilarious because you and I have had this experience as well, where we're talking to some salesperson and asking them about the technology, and only to find out they didn't, they didn't describe it very well.
Yeah.
So I do think that's hilarious, but. I know you're going to go and you're going to grill these people.
Oh, yeah.
And get lots of good swag.
Oh, most importantly.
Get lots of stickers and tote bags and things like that. Okay. So, and maybe that could be what we discuss in our next episode is the what you found at the RegTech conference.
I'll report my findings.
Yes, please do. So that will be in the end of September. So maybe if we can find some time to discuss that, do a recording of a podcast in October to talk about that. And then I'm also going to be in London at a compliance conference, a financial crime conference in London in November. So
You'll be in Cayman in October.
Cayman in October, exactly. So that's also a compliance conference, and for the Caribbean region. So we're both going to be learning a lot. You focusing on the RegTech. I'll focus on financial crime and compliance, and between us, we'll
meet you back here. Who knows how long? And if you got this far in the podcast, if you're still listening, write in. Tell us what you thought.
Who are they going to write into?
I'm not sure yet.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's give them. We'll give them your email address.
Sure.
Yeah, Charlotte at silocompliance.com.
Yeah.
And that's CHARLOTTE.
CAM certified.
Yeah, and now ACAM certified. But Charlotte at silocompliance.com. That's Silo, S as in Sam, ILO. Sorry, I'm going to let you have all the emails. There you go. Your email's no longer safe and secure. It's out there in the public world.
I know.
But congratulate her on becoming a certified compliance officer from ACAMS, and welcome her to the compliance community. She did grow up with it.
Yeah, so it was about time, really.
Yeah, it was just, it was, we've got the cookies. Come to the dark side.
Yeah.
Or the compliance side.
Exactly.
And again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you will enjoy us for future broadcast of Comply or Die.
Thank you.
Thank you.